Hi there and welcome to the channel. I'm Slade and today I have a long-awaited update to my thumbs up gear plan. This time we have got, with the brand new update, this essential attribute which allows you to make sure that one of the attributes that is selected as a secondary attribute has to be met in order for a piece to be thumbs up, which is fantastic because it means that no longer are we going to have pieces for DPS that do not have, attack bonus, for example, or a healer that doesn't have speed, for example. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to go over, I have 4 plans, one for the early game, then the mid game, then the late game, then the end game. You can jump along to the appropriate plan for you in the timestamps below. But to just quickly go over what I would say as a general rule of thumb, in terms of early game, you are looking at basically from when you start all the way up to when you start to hit these 13s, maybe 15s. Then mid game is going to be your 13 to 18s, pushing 19s. I would say it's when you start to hit this 1920s. Late game is going to be the longest that you have. It is going to be 20, 21, all the way up to APOC 2. This is not about endgame content. So the endgame gear plans are designed for when you have a full collection of gear and you are being incredibly selective. So even if you are doing endgame content, I still think my late game gear plan is going to be what's best for you. So anyway, without further ado, here are the gear plans. Okay, so starting off with the early game gear plan, what you will notice is that all the gear sets have been selected, and this is broken down into essentially stats over sets. What we are looking for here is essential attributes that match what the primary attribute needs for that type of person. So for a HP based healer or CC'er and a primary attribute of attack speed, it doesn't matter if it's Infernal Roar or Fatality or Guardian, as long as it has HP bonus and range regen, that is going to help you build that initial hero. I think a best example here is actually going to be looking at the DPS. DPS is obviously something you need to do. It does not matter which gear set you have. If the primary attribute is attack bonus, you definitely need to have crit rate. And it is better to get some pieces that are attack bonus with crit rate, regardless of the set, to get you started. And then as you progress up and you move to the mid game, then you will see that the required selected attributes will change and include more of these secondary attributes. But I've left them in here because I think it's important to start to understand what primary attributes go with what secondary attributes to what you are trying to build for. Now, in terms of the 2-piece set, you'll see that this is broken down into attack and HP. And that is because the chests and the weapons have different stats that they can only have unless it is an ancient or a forge piece. So one thing that's really interesting to note on DPS is that a chest piece will only have crit damage, no attack speed, and a weapon will have attack speed but no crit damage, unless, like I said, it is one of those forge pieces or an ancient or a variant. That is when you can get it. So yeah, this early game gear plan, if you are interested in just starting out, this is your stats over sets, and the plan code is capital M, little z, capital A, 0, capital N, capital D, little g, equals sign. Now moving on to the mid-game gear plan, what you'll notice here is that we have drastically cut down on the amount of gear sets that are going to be recommended. And this is because as you move into the mid-game, what you want to do is actually start focusing on collecting sets that are going to also have beneficial attributes. So for example, for DPS, having something that improves it, such as, insight or wisdom, rather than when you are early game, where it's like, it doesn't matter if that is, acephalus. I can never say that word, but essentially that is the point. You'll also notice that we have kept the number of secondary attributes needed essentially to just cover those essential attributes pretty much. And that is because if you're in the mid game, what you are still looking for is trying to still maximize those really important stats, but now looking to try and get them in the right set. So that to me is what I would say is the distinguisher between early and mid game, is you are now looking to start to build on those stats in those sets, if that makes sense. But yeah, if you want to get the mid-game plan, then the code is going to be capital M, little z, capital A, 0, capital N, capital T, capital E, and equal sign. Next, let's talk about the late game. This is a gear plan that you are going to have for the longest time, as the aim is to now get gear that is both the right set as well as good substats. The secondary requirements are also increased in most cases, and ideally you want to get quads, which are pieces that have 4 ideal substats. But these are really hard to get and are what the endgame gear plan is designed for. You'll notice crit rate main pieces and a lot of the tier 1 DPS sets are no longer included, and that's because in late game there are way better options, and you want to be crit capping your heroes using substats so you have more damage in your builds. This gear plan is going to cover you for all late to endgame content, from hitting those gear raids stage 19 plus all the way to the 120k plus in APOC 2. Starting off with the right hand side gear, this is your HP percentage main. For your HP tank, we're looking at Tempered Will, Unshaken Will, Morale, and Guardian. Primary attribute is HP bonus, and we need 3 of the following: defense, HP, defense bonus, rage regen, and speed. But the 2 essential attributes that we want on your HP tank is going to be defense bonus and flat HP. Now, the next thing here is a defense percentage main. This is niche. You can delete this. It is so niche. If you have enough of these pieces, and when I mean enough of this, I literally mean 1 set. Like, you maybe want 1 set. It is so niche. I rarely ever use anything like this. I think the only time I have ever used this is on an Edith in Gear Dungeon 2. And even then, it's mainly HP bonus as it is. But anyway, it is a primary attribute of defense bonus with secondary attributes of flat defense, flat HP, HP bonus, rage regen, healing effect, and attack speed. And the essential attributes are going to be HP bonus and defense. You are going to need a lot of HP if you are using a defense percentage main stat. So this rule is slightly unique in the fact that it has all, and that is because what we are trying to do is rotate the primary attributes with the secondary attributes. So if you have HP percentage main, you want rage regen and attack speed. If you have rage regen, you want HP bonus and attack speed. And if you have attack speed, you want HP bonus and rage regen. So this rule can actually all be collated into one, as long as effectively the required selected attributes match the ones that couldn't be done in the primary, if that makes sense. So yeah, this is basically the plan for your HP healer or crowd controller, and that is because the main thing that you want with these heroes is to make them survive, have some tankiness with the HP, make them go fast, and make them ult as often as you can. Next, looking at the healing effect, it's broken down into 2. One is for attack-based healer. The essential attributes are going to be attack bonus, rage regen, and attack speed, but I've also left in the fact that it would be quite nice to have flat attack in there, and if you need some survivability, also look for HP bonus as well. And then for your HP-based healer, if you're using healing effect, then what you are going to make sure that you need is going to be HP bonus, rage regen, and attack speed, and what would be nice to have as that 4th is flat HP. Now, speaking of healers, it is slightly different for an attack-based healer. Now, why would you want to put an attack-based healer in a HP bonus main? Someone like an Elowen, someone like an Aelin or a Fersi in certain content, even though they are attack-based healers, you need them to have some survivability with that primary attribute. So we're still going for Wings of Grace, Morale, Invig, Acephalus. We're keeping Glacier because it does still boost attack based on HP, and Mana Spring. And the secondary attributes we are looking for are attack bonus, rage regen, healing effect, and attack speed. But the 3 essential that we need are attack bonus, rage regen, and attack speed. You'll notice here that the 3 required covers the essential attributes, but essentially the reason I have kept in the secondary attributes, and you'll notice this a lot even if it says that the required attributes match the amount of essentials, is they're the other stats that you're really looking for. So, just as a way to sort of start learning about what gear goes together, hopefully that helps. Now, in terms of attack speed mains, if you've got an attack-based healer, we are going to still have... Glacier is not in that set either. That should be there. Let's quickly fix that. We are looking at Wings of Grace, Invig, Acephalus, Glacier, and Mana Spring. Primary attribute of attack speed. Going to need 3 of attack bonus, HP bonus, rage regen, and healing effect. And of course, the 2 main that we need are attack bonus and rage regen. Next, on the speed primary attribute, this is going to be for DPS. So we're now looking at DPS sets. That is Cataclysm, Hell's Amon, Infernal Roar, Soulborn Arcana, Aegis Wrath, Insight, Wisdom, Night Terror, and Curse. Secondary attributes are attack bonus, HP bonus, rage regen, crit rate, and crit damage. And the 2 essential attributes are going to be attack bonus and crit rate. You need those 2 absolutely on every DPS that you have. Now you could move this up to 4 as you start to collect attack speed pieces, because as you progress through the late game, attack speed mains are going to really start to drop off, because you're going to be trying to get all the speed you need in the subs. Speaking of that, this crit rate DPS, this is a rule that I would delete further into the late game that you are, but delete at your discretion essentially, because essentially you want to have crit rate as your substats, but this is going to be the same DPS sets, but I've set it to require 4 of the selected attributes of attack bonus, rage regen, crit damage, and attack speed, but it has to have attack bonus. Then if we're looking at crit damage mains, we're going to have those gear sets as well. It's going to have 3 selected attributes: attack bonus, HP bonus, rage regen, crit rate, and attack speed. And again, I've selected 3 essential attributes in attack bonus, crit rate, and attack speed. So ideally, you're going to be looking for that 4th to be one of those secondary attributes, but I've not set it to 4 because I said quads are very difficult to come by. Next, looking at rage regen mains for your attack-based healer. In those healer sets of Wings of Grace, Morale, Invig, Acephalus, Mana Spring, the 3 selected attributes are attack bonus, HP bonus, healing effect, and attack speed, with the 2 most important being attack bonus and attack speed. Now for your attack bonus main, but for DPS, we're going to have those DPS sets again: Cataclysm, Hell's Amont, Infernal Roar, Soulbond, Aegis Wrath, Insight, Wisdom, Night Terror, and Curse. Attack bonus primary, 3 secondary attributes out of attack, HP bonus, rage regen, crit rate, crit damage, and attack speed, but the 2 essential attributes are now going to be crit rate and attack speed. So ideally, you're going to get one of these other stats. Ideally, you get all 4 of them, but they're the stats that you are going to be looking for your attack-based DPS. Next is going to be attack bonus main for your inspiration units. We are going to be looking for the essential attributes. There is going to be 3 of them. It is going to be attack, rage regen, and attack speed. HP bonus would be that quad stat that you're looking for to try and keep them alive. But essentially, they are what is very important in those Wings of Grace, Morale, Invig, Acephalus, and Mana Spring. Next is going to be the attack percentage main on your attack-based healer. Again, those healer sets. Looking again for 3 selected attributes out of flat attack, HP bonus, rage regen, healing effect, and attack speed. But the 2 that are the most important and therefore the essentials are rage regen and attack speed. And finally, that is that attack speed that we fixed with the Glacier coming in there. Actually, I think this one here, this attack percentage for the attack healer, we're also going to add in Glacier as well. That's something that when you get sort of like 1 or 2 sets of the Glacier, it's a bit more niche. But anyway, now moving on to the left hand side, or your 2-piece sets, what we are going to be looking at is the follow. This is HP, so this is your chest piece on a HP healer or CC'er. We need 2 out of HP bonus, rage regen, healing effect, and attack speed, but the essential attribute is HP bonus. Now, unfortunately, rage regen and attack speed on a chest piece are only really available in ancients or forged materials and exclusive gear, so that's why it's a bit harder. And we have selected those forged ones of Astral Guardian and Light's Grace, and then we do have Immortal Warrior, Salvation, Life Force, and Whirlwind. I would also say that I've left Life Force in, but as you move in the late game, you might want to just take this out. Next is the weapon for your HP healer / CC'er. We definitely need to make sure that this has HP bonus and attack speed, which is why it requires 2 selected attributes and it requires those 2. The other ones that I've left in are flat HP, rage regen, and healing effect. Like I said, rage regen would be on those ancient pieces. Healing effect is kind of hard to get, and then flat HP would be quite nice as well. Change it as you need to. Then we have the attack or the weapon for your inspiration healer. Essentially, this is just going to be Warlord and Calamity. It needs to have attack bonus, and then ideally would have attack speed, rage regen, or HP bonus. The main thing that you're looking for on your inspiration units is really high rolls in attack bonus. that you are not then going to try and use on your DPS units. So these are going to be ones that don't necessarily have crit rate or crit damage or different things that would be helpful on a DPS unit, but still has that really high attack roll. And again, for the chest, we can now get flat attack. So we really want to have both flat attack and attack bonus on the chest piece for an inspiration unit. Now for DPS, we have got rid of Whirlwind because we're now moving into just wanting those DPS sets, which is Wicked Vengeance, Warlord, Calamity, and Annihilating Might. Now for the chest piece, we are looking for 3 selected attributes, making sure that we have attack bonus and crit rate, ideally, and then we would love to get crit damage, attack, rage regen, and attack speed. Now the quads are normally coming on your chest. Since exclusive gear has come in, it's a bit easier to get some quad weapons, but in your normal sets, so Warlord, Calamity, Annihilating Might, the quad that you are looking for ideally is attack bonus, crit rate, crit damage, and flat attack. Now for the weapon for your DPS, we are obviously again looking for attack bonus and crit rate with rage regen, crit damage, and attack speed. But really, again, on those basic sets, the Warlord, Calamity, Annihilating Might, you would like to have them all to have attack speed as well. But I haven't made it a required or essential attribute because that is going to be something that could change as you get ancients and stuff like that. But it has to have attack bonus and crit rate because they're the most important. Now, for your HP or chest piece on a tank, we are looking at 3 selected attributes out of flat defense, defense bonus, HP bonus, and rage regen. And the essential attribute is going to be defense bonus and HP bonus. So unless it is a ancient or a exclusive gear, you're not going to get that rage regen. So ideally on the chest piece, trying to get it a little bit more tanky is going to help. Now for the weapon on a tank, we are still going to be looking for 3 selected attributes: flat defense, flat HP, defense bonus, HP bonus, rage regen, and attack speed, with the essential attributes being defense bonus and flat HP. Now you can get what I'd call a quad weapon for a tank, and that is going to have defense bonus, HP bonus, flat HP, and flat defense. That is fantastic on a pure tank. Otherwise, you want to be looking to drop the flat defense in favor of rage regen or attack speed if you are using a tank that, I don't know, like Cyrus wants to spawn a load of skeletons, something like that. But yeah. Now, for the chest piece on an attack-based healer, we are looking at Light's Grace, Warlord, Salvation, Calamity, and Whirlwind, with 3 selected attributes out of attack bonus, HP bonus, rage regen, healing effect, and attack speed, but making sure it absolutely has that attack bonus. And then for the weapon, we are going to be adding in attack speed because what do you want from your healer? You want them healing fast. And then finally, we have a niche set. This is going to be your tanky gear set, so Astral Guardian, Immortal Warrior, and Life Force, although to be honest you probably wouldn't ascend a Life Force piece for this, so that could probably get taken out, but you might need to use them before you get them further. But essentially what this is this is going on a DPS unit that needs a little bit more survivability. Think Hatset and Gear Dungeon 2, think basically this entirety of Abyss 1. And what you are looking for is to make sure it has attack bonus and crit rate, and then you are looking to maximize those DPS substats, so crit damage, attack speed, flat attack, rage regen, and then also that survivability in a HP bonus. And that is why this gear set absolutely requires 4 of the selected attributes. So yeah, that is the late game settings. As I said, this is the gear set that you are going to be staying with for a very long time, because this is more about building up your gear collection than what kind of content you're in. So if you want to have this plan,
it's capital M, little z, capital A, 0, capital N, J, capital Y, equals.
Finally, let's talk about my endgame gear plan. First things first, just because you have completed endgame content does not mean this endgame gear plan is right for you. As I said, the late game gear plan covers you from starting to hit gear raids 19 plus all the way to APOC 2 120k. This gear plan is designed for when you have a well-established account and are looking for those very rare pieces that will improve your heroes and are discarding everything else. You'll notice most sets have been removed and nearly all require 4 substats to match. With this gear plan, over 95% of what you farm is going to be trashed if you select sell all non-thumbs up, which is why if you have any doubts, just use late game gear plan and tweak it a little bit if you feel that you're between the two. Let's just say with these settings, you'll be lucky to get one piece in over 200 runs, but that's what you're looking for if you are truly endgame in terms of gear. You'll also notice that some plans, for example, these two new BP plans, will require ancient or exclusive pieces to meet the requirements. These pieces are massive for boosting BP and GVG, which I consider the primary endgame content that you can keep pushing in Watcher of Realms. Let's have a look at some of these plans in more detail. Okay, so this gear plan that says all HP healer /CC, the reason, like I said previously, these are bunched together is because you're rotating between the primary and secondary attributes. If it is HP bonus, you want to make sure it has rage regen and attack speed. If it's rage regen, you want to make sure it has HP bonus and attack speed. And if it's attack speed, you want to make sure it's HP bonus and rage regen, which is why this plan can all be collated into one. And essentially, you're still looking for those appropriate sets for your HP healer or crowd controller. And now you are looking to try and refine it in terms of the roles that you are going to get on it. I'm going to talk a little bit about rolling at the end of this video. And then also for the HP bonus for your tank, you now need 4 of these. 100% you need 4 of these. Absolutely need to have HP and defense bonus, but you are then also going to be looking to pick up rage regen, speed, and defense. I would necessarily say I would always pick rage regen and attack speed over defense in the end game, but that's a little bit different. Next, with this HP bonus main in your attack based healer, I've kept Glacier in there because it can be used for some very niche content, think Constance and GVG. But essentially we absolutely want to have those 4 stats, but the essential is going to be attack bonus, rage regen, and attack speed. And then we are going to be looking for either flat attack or healing effect to round that off. Now, in terms of a speed main for your DPS, we absolutely want to make sure it has attack bonus, crit rate, and crit damage. And then flat attack, HP bonus, or rage regen is going to be nice. But to be honest, there are very few speed pieces, mains that you're going to be wanting to use as you progress, unless it's for very specific builds or a BP piece. Now, crit damage is definitely a piece that you are going to want to be using. The general rule of thumb is that in PvE, attack bonus is key. You want to mainly have 3 attack bonus pieces, but in boss content, crit damage comes into its own, and you definitely want to have either 1 or sometimes 2 crit damage pieces. Obviously, different heroes require different things, but you know, that is a different nuance that I can't get into in this video. So essentially, if the primary attribute is crit damage in these DPS sets, we want to make sure we have 4 of them out of attack, attack bonus, HP bonus, rage regen, crit rate, and attack speed, but we absolutely want to have attack bonus, crit rate, and attack speed. Now, for the rage regen on an attack based healer, sorry, this is a little bit out of order compared to the other one. When you edit it, they sort of roll around. So try to keep it as in order as possible, but I do apologize that it's not completely in order. So with that rage regen main stat, again, we want 4 attributes. The essential are going to be attack bonus and attack speed, but the other that we can look at is going to be flat attack, HP bonus, and healing effect. Having 2 of those is going to be really, really nice. Now, attack bonus main on your DPS. Again, we want 4 attributes out of flat attack, HP bonus, rage regen, crit rate, crit damage, and attack speed, with the 3 most important ones being crit rate, crit damage, and attack speed. That essentially leaves flat attack, HP bonus, or rage regen as that 4th attribute. And to be honest, depending on the hero and depending on the content, that is where that 4th stat is going to want to change. Then we also have the attack percentage for your inspiration units. You're going to need these 4 on them. It's going to be flat attack, HP bonus, rage regen, and attack speed. Now, obviously, a Dolores doesn't need attack speed. Maybe by now you have enough Dolores pieces, but other units such as Dao-chan, Beelzebub, Constance, Durza, even Dasomi, those other sort of like typical healers, they still want to benefit from attack speed, which is why that is definitely a required. Then we also have the attack primary for your attack-based healer. We also want 4 select attributes, the essentials being rage regen, healing effect, and attack speed, and then you either want HP bonus or flat attack to fill that one out. Very similarly, sort of flipping it for your speed main for attack-based healer, the essentials being attack bonus, rage regen, and healing effect. Again, the two that you are going to be missing, and hopefully get one of the other, is going to be flat attack or HP bonus. You'll sort of see that essentially what we're doing is the primary or the essential attributes are rotating between this type of unit, so speed or attack percentage on these attack healers. Now, for the healing effect for a HP healer, we have bumped this up to 4 selected attributes. Essentially, we are going to be looking for HP bonus, rage regen, attack speed, and flat HP on that healing effect main for your HP healer. And then moving across to the healing effect to an attack-based healer, what we are going to have is that primary attribute of healing effect. It is going to be essential to have attack bonus, rage regen, and attack speed. But then that full stat could either be flat attack or HP bonus, depending on your needs. Then finally, this right-hand side BP, it can be either attack bonus or attack speed, and then must have 4 of the following, which then covers it, if that makes sense. So if it's an attack bonus primary, it has to have flat attack, crit rate, crit damage, and attack speed. And if it is an attack speed piece, it has to have flat attack bonus, crit rate, and crit damage. Finally, let's have a look at those 2-piece sets, starting off with the weapon for your inspiration. Again, main attributes are going to be attack bonus and attack speed, and then we are going to be looking for HP bonus or rage regen as well. And then for the chest, again, it's 3: flat attack, HP bonus, rage regen, healing effect, attack speed are all going to be really nice, but you have to make sure you have attack and attack bonus. Again, these a little bit more open, if that makes sense, because the main thing you're looking, to be completely honest, in your inspiration pieces is gold rolls, which are really hard to come by. But if you can get that gold attack bonus, that is going to be absolutely incredible. Okay, looking at the weapon for your tank, we are going to want 4 selected attributes: flat defense, flat HP, defense bonus, HP bonus, rage regen, and attack speed. The essential attributes being defense bonus and HP bonus. Now, one thing I would say is that essentially flat defense is going to be the least important that you're looking for here, but it is quite nice if you get defense bonus, HP, and defense. But ideally, if you get those lovely exclusive or ancient pieces, if they have rage regen and attack speed, that is going to be beautiful, because again, even though those sort of things aren't basically your tanks, you want them ulting to essentially survive more in certain content. So yeah, just a little thing. And then for the weapon, again, because we don't have flat HP as an option, this is only going to be 3 of those selected attributes. Then the other thing is going to be this tanky DPS, slightly niche build with your Astral Guardian and Immortal Warrior, and you have to have 4 of these attributes. It has to be attack bonus and crit rate, with then flat attack, HP bonus, rage regen, crit damage, and attack speed. These are very, very niche pieces, but they are absolutely fantastic when you need some survivability on those DPSs. Now, for your HP based healers and your CCers, on the chest, you are basically going to be looking for 3 attributes, with the 2 essential being HP bonus and healing effect, and then looking for rage regen and attack speed, which means these pieces are going to be exclusive or ancient only. Same holds true for the weapons, because we're now looking for 4 selected attributes, must have HP bonus, healing effect, and attack speed. The other 2, which is going to be flat HP, rage regen. Yeah, flat HP or rage regen. You're going to be able to get flat HP pieces, but you are going to need to have exclusive variants, ancients, to get that rage regen. And then for the attack-based healers, we want to make sure we have attack bonus and healing effect, and then also 4 required attributes. So that is going to help you pick up flat attack, attack speed, HP bonus, rage regen in your chest. Ideally, definitely looking for flat attack. That would be really nice, but I can definitely see how having rage regen and attack speed or HP bonus as those extra 2 on the chest would be quite nice as well. And then for the weapon for your attack based healers, again, 4 attributes. Must have attack bonus, healing effect, and attack speed, and then you want to pick up HP bonus or rage regen, which again is going to depend on the type of piece. And then we also have your left-hand side BP pieces. This is basically only going to be available in ancient variant or exclusive, because we are looking for a quad of attack bonus, crit rate, crit damage, attack speed, and flat attack. And obviously the weapon won't be able to have flat attack, but the chest will be able to have a slightly different mixture of that. I will say this though, actually the essential attribute has to have attack bonus, and that's because on a chest piece you wouldn't want to have flat attack, crit rate, crit damage, and attack speed. So just needed to correct that there. And then finally, for the main thing, which is going to be your DPS, it's going to be very similar, but we are bringing in the HP bonus because that is something that you are going to be able to get on most of this gear anyway. And so that is going to be essentially your quad. The options for 2 quads normally on your chest piece are going to be attack bonus, crit rate, and crit damage with either attack or HP bonus. Obviously, those special pieces could have rage regen and attack speed. And then for the weapon, it is basically going to be making sure you have HP bonus, unless it is a special piece, at which point you will get rage regen. So the code for the endgame plan is going to be capital M, little z, capital A, 0, capital N, capital T, capital Y, and equal sign. When you come out of this, you'll see here it says gear set does not include any recommendations for Whirlwind, Life Force, Salvation, Fatality, Fracture, Hawkeye, Styx, and Doom, because in endgame we're just not going to be using these pieces. I would still say if you get ancient pieces of these, you may want to keep them. You may want to have a look at them. That's completely up to you. I have reached a point where I have not done it, and that's kind of where I have based this endgame gear plan on. Now, the other thing that I wanted to just quickly talk about was rolling. So one thing I will say, and this applies to absolutely everyone, when you're rolling gear, definitely make sure you roll it to 8. If it rolls well in the first 2, like it's done here, it is more likely to roll well in the final 2 stats. But let's have a look here. Let's roll it to 8. Okay, so that's more likely to do well. And I would also say, generally speaking, there's not much point keeping gear if it hasn't rolled past that second blue line, unless it is a quad piece. Quad DPS pieces are worth using your hammers on, but very few pieces are like that. Oh my goodness me, we're getting some really lovely rolls. This is lovely. This is not a piece I will keep. But anyway, trying to find a piece that rolls badly. Let it roll badly. Okay, so this one has just gone over the blue. And so let's see if so the rest of it's barely made it over that second blue line. So slight indicator type thing. And then, as I said, if you go into the foundry and you go into your refining and recasting, just a couple of quick little tips and tricks in terms of your recasts. Make sure you use them on your best pieces. Definitely save them for your quad DPS is what I would say over pieces for other units. Same with your refining, especially refining ancients, where you get these incredibly rare advanced refining crystals. They're very hard to use. Make sure they are worth it on something you're going to get more bonus out of DPS. But your regular stuff, I can see a use for using it on something like an invigoration piece, or maybe if you have an incredible healer piece that has 3 amazing rolls and 1 terrible, I could see maybe using a normal refining crystal on that. But in terms of, again, recasting, I think I've covered that. And then for ascending, when you complete Void Rift for the first time, you will get these spirit boxes where you get 200 in it, and you can choose one of these 3 ascension materials. Now, a lot of times people say put this on a DPS set. There was an argument to basically say use it on a Cephalus to help you get your first invigoration set. But I would actually still say that trying to ascend a DPS set is probably going to be your best bet. It really depends on whether or not you've been able to unlock Gear Dungeon 1 or 2 stage 3, because you can actually then start to get some forge material, get a really trash Wings of Grace. That really helps you progress. But definitely in terms of looking at your ascensions, I would definitely say, depending on where you are in the game, you are going to be wanting to do your DPS sets. If you're near endgame, you're pretty much exclusively going to be looking to ascend Night Terror, and that is because Aegis Wrath is the best BP gear set, and you're only going to be wanting to ascend attack bonus mains. Anyway, that is essentially everything from me. I absolutely love the fact they have now added in this essential attribute to the gear plans. Do let me know in the comments below which gear plan you decided to go for. Have you made your own and tweaked it and different things like that? But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Do like and subscribe if you haven't already. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video and the next live stream. So until then, take care and bye for now.